What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Tuesday, June 23rd. Now today's dog video, I want to address some of your questions that you've been asking me on X and on YouTube. Now some of these questions I think are questions you shouldn't be asking yourself. And what are those questions? So some of you have been asking me, are we at the bottom for dog price? What's the target market cap for dog? And when is dog going to pump? These questions actually don't have any useful answers, and they also end up leading to emotional decisions, which end up equaling losses. So the real question that you need to ask yourself right now is, how much can I gain from dog price right now compared to versus how much can I realistically lose with dog investing right now? So that's what I want to cover in this video, and I want to share with you a brief description on the major gains that outweigh the losses if you were to invest right now. And obviously we're going to address what's going on with dog price because Bitcoin took a dip and dog price is still holding strong. But the Binance cluster wallet does have some plans, and I've been noticing something going on chain to mimic retail capitulation when it really is not happening. So let's dive deep into it. Let's not waste any time. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. Now, before we begin with the slideshow, I want to give everybody an update on the dog fundraiser that we're doing for Cryptolution. As you know, for the past 2 years, we've made over 530 videos and 780 daily updates of dog. Absolutely 100% voluntary. Now, the goal for this fundraiser is 20 million dog. And right now, as of today, in the past 24 hours, we've raised roughly around 2.83 million dog tokens. So roughly right now we have around 14.15% funded. We still have a lot more to go, get us to 20 million dog tokens. And I want to remind everybody that if you get the #1 position in terms of your largest donation on the leadership board, you get the Dog of Bitcoin Silver medallion created by C2 Blockchain. But I've also added in another prize, which is for second place. So the second place top donor will receive a one-on-one dog Pizza Ninja Ordinal. This is the only one created, the only one that exists within the Pizza Ninjas collection. And as you can see, it's the Dog of Bitcoin. And last but not least, if you're part of the top 20 donors, you will be featured at the end credits of every single dog video for the next 2 months. So if you want to find out how to donate, please check out this pinned post on my X page, which is this specific donation contract address. Or you can find it down in the YouTube descriptions below, and make sure to DM me your donation amount and also your X handle so that I can add you to the leadership board. Help us reach our 20 million dog token goal so that we can continue to make dog updates on a daily basis for the next 2 years. This is important. All right, let's just take a look into what's going on with the price of dog. Now, dog is a little bit below a 60 million market cap, but that's nothing. I mean, just look at what happened to Bitcoin. Bitcoin went down almost close to around 3 to 4% as of this morning. It's at 62,000 US dollars. So what do you think happened to the rest of the meme coin sector? The rest of the meme coin sector is actually taking a hard hit. Pengu down 4%, along with Bonk, Sheeb, Doge, Dogwoof Hat. And check this out, even SPX 6900 is down 7% over the past 24 hours. Right now, dog is outpacing SPX by 7%. It's also outpacing Pengu by 3%. And why is that? Why is dog still holding strong? Well, just pay attention to one thing. The long-term holders just reached a new all-time high today at 82.1%. This continues to grow. That means dog holders, the ones that are true Dog Army members, are accumulating and holding, or aka hodling. Now, what we need to pay attention to over here is the 17.9%. That's the short-term holders. Guess what? 13.7% of short-term holders are the Binance clusters, and they're attempting to mimic any manipulation of the price of dog to mimic retail. This is using exchanges like Gate.io, BitGet, and MEXC because they're overseas exchanges. They're not within the US. So because of that, they can influence the price of dog as much as they can, but they're having a hard time pushing it below 60 million market cap. It did touch 58 million market cap, but that was just barely. Remember, I've shared this image before. The yellow section, that's the long-term holders. That's you out there, the retail investor. The 13.7% is the Binance cluster, which is within the short-term holders. Now, why is this very important? Because within the zone, there's roughly around 4.3% of the dog token in free flow. So it's really important for the dog army to accumulate, most importantly, that 4.3% free flow. As long as we get that remaining 4.3%, which is roughly around 4.3 billion dog tokens, this is going to garner a lot more strength into the dog army compared to the Binance cluster. So keep that in mind. Okay, now let's go back into the presentation. So if you were to invest a certain amount of US dollars into dog right now, you shouldn't be asking yourself, are we hitting a bottom? What's the target market cap? When's it going to pump? You have to ask yourself this question, which is how the 1% think, is how much can you gain compared to how much you will lose if you were to invest now? So let's focus on what's happening right now. Is that altcoins have already crashed, meaning they've already been priced in. Most of the altcoin market has experienced an 80 to 90% drawdown. Bitcoin, by the way, has drawn down almost over 50% already. Dog at the time of this recording has lost roughly around 93% of its value from its all-time high market cap of $999 million. That's just 1 million shy of $1 billion. Now, you got to ask yourself, what if Bitcoin decides to draw down just a little bit more? Because currently right now, Bitcoin's at 62,000 US dollars. But what if it drops to 50,000? What about 40,000? So one thing that you need to take away from this specific slide is that when you're already down 93% with dog and Bitcoin dropping another 20% to the lowest, maybe 40K, it doesn't take dog down another 93%. The floor is being built in real time. So what do we mean by that? So just think about it. The asymmetric trade is actually right here, right now, dog starting at 60 million market cap. So just imagine if you invest a certain amount of US dollars right now. Just think about it. What are your losses compared to your gains? Well, your losses are actually not that big. Your losses could be around a negative 10%. Compared to the massive gain that you have could be over 4,900%. This is equivalent to, say, for instance, something like Bonk. Remember, I bought Bonk when Bonk was at a 9 million market cap, and then it pumped to over $2 billion. And I've shared this trade before. So what's the ratio, the risk ratio right now? Well, basically it's 490 to 1. So if you think about it, the bear case is the negative 10%. But if you reach all-time highs such as Dog Wifhat, Floki, Shiba Inu, or Dogecoin, which is all the dog-themed meme coins on the other chains such as Ethereum and Solana, the gains of dog Bitcoin is much more than the losses of dog Bitcoin heading to the downside, even if Bitcoin dropped. So now that we understand the upside, how big is the upside? If we compare dog parities to, say, for instance, Bonk, Dog Wifhat, Floki, Shiba Inu, or Dogecoin, what would those numbers look like? So if you were to buy into dog now at around 60 million market cap, and it were to pump to Bonk's all-time high market cap at 3.3 billion, that'd be a 55x return. What about dog compared to Dog Wifhat at $4.84 billion, which was its all-time high? That's an 81x. What about Floki's $4.3 billion all-time high market cap? Well, dog would increase 72x from 60 million market cap. What about Shiba Inu that reached around $41 billion in terms of its all-time high market cap? Well, dog from 60 million would have a 683x return, and none other than Dogecoin, which reached its all-time high at $88 billion. When dog at 60 million reaches to that specific market cap, that's 1,467x return. So dog Bitcoin is a Bitcoin native L1 token. None of these peers are. And that's the thing, that's the asymmetry right there for dog Bitcoin, because it's built on the largest liquidity pool, which is Bitcoin's $1.3 trillion market cap currently at the time of this recording. It can go over $2 trillion once we reach into the 125,000 Bitcoin price range. Now, this is a really fun chart. This is an interactive chart. So just imagine if you were to invest $100, $1,000, $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, $100,000. How many dog tokens will you get? How much multiple X will you get in that return compared to Bonk, Dog Wifhat, Floki, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin? And also, how much of that value will be worth once it reaches those all-time highs? So check it out. So let's just look into if you were to invest $100 right now with dog being a 60 million market cap. Well, just imagine if Bitcoin does drop to around 40,000 US dollars. Well, that means that your $100 would probably drop to around $90 because that's a negative 10%. So that's a $10 loss. But look at the gains. The gains, if it were to 55x for your $100 would turn into $5,400 because of Bonk's all-time high price. What about Dog Wifhat? $8,000. Floki, $7,000. Shiba Inu, $68,000. Dogecoin, $146,000 US. That's how powerful $100 into Dog right now would give you in terms of return compared to your losses. Now let's increase this to roughly around, say, 10,500. Well, that means if Bitcoin were to drop to around 40,000 and we saw a drawback of negative 10% in the Dog price, then you would experience a 1,000 loss. But look at your gains. Your gains would be $567,000 US with Bonk all-time high. In terms of Dog Wifhat, $840,000, $745,000 for Floki, $7.1 million for Shiba Inu, $15.3 million for Dogecoin all-time high prices. You see how these gains grow? But let's even increase it even more. Look at 25,000. Go ahead and freeze frame this to see what your gains and losses would be. Your losses would be 5,000 and your gains would be in the millions of dollars. Look at what we are at with 75,000 US dollars. You would lose 7,500 if Bitcoin were to draw down to 40,000, but look at the multi-millions of dollars that you would get for your $75,000 investment into Dog right now at 60 million market cap. And last but not least, what about 100K? If you were to buy 100K worth of Dog tokens, you would get roughly around 166 million Dog tokens. And you would only experience a loss of 10,000 US dollars if Bitcoin were to draw down to 40K, which is a negative 10%, but your gains would still be in the multi-millions of dollars. Dog reaching Bonk's all-time high would turn your 100,000 to 5.4 million. Dog Wifhat would take you to 8 million. Floki would take your 100,000 into 7.1 million. Shiba Inu taking your 100,000 to 68 million. Dogecoin taking your 100,000 into Dogecoin's all-time high price at 146 million. Do you understand how this works? Your losses are minimal compared to your gains, which are maximal. Now, this is how the mental edge and the 1% think. This is why they look at the gains rather than the losses. Now, 99% of crypto people only focus on one thing, and that's the emotional decision making. So they're always going to ask, are we at the bottom? When's the market cap going to go up? When are we going to pump? And they usually sell during the dips and buy during the parabola events, meaning they chase the pumps. Then they react to price, not probability, because they always check on coin market cap. They look at the price, and then that determines their financial decisions. And then they're most likely going to be focusing on max losses, which paralyzes them in fear. So not only do they sell, but they never come back. Then they always need permission from the chart before entering, meaning if they see the chart pump, that means they will then enter. But that's not how you gain. You actually have to be the 1% because you have to be in there before the pump. So how does the 1% think? They have a probabilistic decision making. That's how their mind works. They define the max losses before entering and accept it. So now that you've seen the demonstration that I've shared with you, the max loss could be negative 10% if Bitcoin were to draw down to maybe 40,000 US dollars, maybe even 50,000 US dollars. But they see the gains. They enter when the asymmetry is maximum, not when it feels safe. Because if you see right now, based on the data that I've shared with you, the asymmetry gains are huge. So that's what gives them the motivation to buy now rather than feeling good about Dog price being back over 100 million US dollars. You're already too late if that's the case. Then they also size their position so that the total loss doesn't hurt their life. Then they also let the upside take care of itself if the thesis plays out. Emotionally prepared for the dip because the math was already done first. So the goal isn't to predict the future, it's to find the trades where being wrong costs very little, like the negative 10%, and being right pays a lot, as you see the massive gains compared to Dog with the other dog themed meme coins. So I conclude this video telling you that the playbook is very simple. Define your risk, which are the losses. Embrace the upside, which are the gains. So step 1, size your position. Only risk what you can afford to lose. Full stop ahead. Then, number 2, accept the downside. Mentally spend it. Now that the upside is free, that's the edge. And step number 3, the last step, Let the trade breathe. The math is already done. Stop watching every single candle and trust the thesis. Because if you know that the drawdown for investing in a dog right now is very minimal and the gains are maximal, you're okay with accepting any downside in case Bitcoin does go down any further. 50,000 Bitcoin, 40,000 Bitcoin. Whatever that price is of Bitcoin, dog will see massive gains from here on out. So now you have to understand how much you're willing to invest, and now you understand the gains ahead. So remember, don't ask yourself the questions, are we bottoming? What's the target market cap? When are we going to pump? It's how much you can gain and how much you can realistically lose right now. Does that make sense? So now that you understand the gains and losses investing in a dog right now, hopefully that answers your question. But as we conclude this video, I want to mention to everybody and remind everybody that we are reaching this 20 million dog fundraiser because I want to keep producing content for the next 2 years. Not just content, not just regular content. I'm talking about educational, research, videos, community updates, attending X Spaces, providing slideshows like this. So please, if you can, make sure to donate to this cause and help us reach our 20 million dog goal. All you need to do is go into my X account and look for this donation address and send your dog tokens. Make sure to DM me your donation amount and also your X handle. I'll add you up to the leadership board. You can also find this address on the YouTube descriptions down below, and I really appreciate your support. Let's meet that goal of 20 million dog tokens. Right now we're at 14.15% funded right now. Let's get to 100%. So by supporting this channel, please smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates. We're in Dog of the Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.